what they call the Chinese thunder god. You know? Okay, do you see him? He's got an axe in his hand, or a hatchet, and a dagger. But what is that? What does he have at his foot? It's a mushroom.
Wow.
That's what he's actually showing him, you know, giving us a picture of a mushroom. So then I started to think, so this is how they were able to see these channels. Bodhidharma sitting in the cave, people consuming mushrooms, because many of these systems are different. Points on the Japanese style are different than they are on the Chinese style. They have two different mushrooms. And they were always connected to their family heritage. Okay? Just because I was able to go to a school out here, but many of those things were kept within the family. But here they show us a picture of the gods and the communication with the gods. And many of you on your journeys have seen things, but these are pictures. This is like the evidence that they were using these things to enhance themselves in the learning. So yeah, so let's leave going. And I thought it was fascinating when I saw it. I was like, look at this guy. Flying, they got him flying through the air on a mushroom. There's a lot of power there. Right, okay. Now, we talk about the taste. Let's think about taste. You have what? Sweet, salty, sour, bitter. What's he say? Spicy or pungent. You know, those different things. So each one of these 5 elements, let's put that back up there for now. Okay. Each one of these elements has a taste associated with it. Okay? So wood is sour. Fire is bitter. Earth is sweet. Metal is pungent or spicy. Okay. Water is salty. Okay. Think about the water. Okay. So so then the organs that are associated with this, the liver and the gallbladder in the wood. In the fire, you have the pericardium and the sanjiao, but you also have the heart and the small intestine. In the earth, you have the spleen and stomach. So the spleen and your stomach. And over here, you have your lungs and your large intestines. And here is your kidney and your urinary bladder. Okay. So liver, gallbladder. Sanjiao or 3 heaters. Just san just means 3. Okay. Well, you have all of this. So let's just take an herb for instance, like dragon's blood. Because someone yesterday had some dragon's blood that they had in.
I got this.
You had dragon's blood?
It wasn't me though.
It wasn't, okay. So dragon's blood is obviously in the name it says it's blood, right? It's something with blood. But it's been used for many different things. You can burn them in incense and make a tea or tincture out of them. It has several applications. But it's neutral in its taste, okay? But it's salty. It has a salty and it's sweet. It has a sweet. It's sweet, so it's neutral, salty, and sweet.
Is it?
Yeah.
I can't tell.
What'd you taste?
It's disgusting.
Exactly. Okay, so neutral, salty, and
How
sweet.
about that?
Okay,
No sweet
because
nowhere.
but so you taste the bitter then, right? You taste the bitter? Is it bitter? You taste bitter?
Yeah.
Okay, so guess where it goes? It goes to the liver. Goes to the liver and it goes to the heart. Because it's moving the blood and it's also addressing the stagnation that the liver will have. So that's what they call it, the shui jiao. This is which means shui is blood.
So Dr. Amsu, with the dragon blood, even if you burn it as an incense, does it still tap the same?
It will, but you're gonna take it in from
The incense.
from the incense, yes, so through your olfactory senses, and then that'll process down on the microparticle level. You're taking it in that way, you go through the lungs and how it goes into the blood that way. Yeah, so that's what incense does, from the outside. Another one, when you think about garlic, right? Many people use garlic. Okay, garlic bulb. It's warm and it's spicy. And it goes to your stomach and your spleen, your large intestines too, and your lungs. So it's going into these elements, these different places. Now, it's important to know what is happening, because sometimes people will say, oh, I had a bad trip, right? You say, okay, this was a tough ride for me. What time did you take the mushroom? Okay, what time of day was it? Which organ was being associated, organ was in its Harari cycle that was active at that moment? Okay, did you have enough energy on board at the time in order for you to make the best of it? Because your body may have been in an enzyme deficiency, because because enzymes are catalysts to make things happen, right?
Like oil in your car.
Right. Right. It's a circulators, they're catalysts, to make the nerves pop, make things move. But if there is debris there, and the debris could come from what kind of different things? Could come from citric acid, right? We get a lot of citric acid, because citric acid blocks, it's a calcium blocker, it's a chelator. Okay, and we got oranges, lemons all over the place, right? But that's not to say that you're gonna stop taking them, but at least you understand what we're doing. Okay, same thing with like bananas. You know the little brown spots on the bananas? This is claviceps purpura. You can look it up. Claviceps purpura. Claviceps is a mold, right? Which is bacteria, and it's known that it's on rye. Right? You see, we get rye bread. So they was hallucinating. They would take off the rye and the
Banana.
well, you could use it if you want to go that route. But they would soak it in alcohol and drink it, and they would have their trips like that. Right. So therefore, now we're seeing how. Oh, pardon me. Yes, question.
How do you know what organ is being activated at what time, when you're taking it? So is it a chart that's saying?
Oh yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
You have a chart?
Yeah, we have charts.
Okay.
But we have charts. We have charts.
Are you giving them out, or is it
No,
take a picture of them or whatever? Because how
You
do you
can
know?
take
Like you're
we
by
can do a
yourself,
chart.
it's supposed to be a self thing.
Yeah, I need that chart.
I'll give you a chart of you. We'll send
Yeah, you throwing stuff out there.
Yes, sir. We'll find it.
Just send it to our email.
Yeah, give me write your email down here. I'll email
That
it.
would be
Yeah, that'd be better.
when
It was about 46 minutes ago. Okay. We got about 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so I gotta turn this up. You gotta start winding it up. Okay, so like, that's why I said right now, you said it was 11:09 at the time.
Right.
I said we were in the heart.
Okay.
Okay,
So I
in
don't
the
know
heart
the rest
time.
of them.
I got you. But
everybody's
it's
the
the more-
same? Everybody's the same?
Yep, it depends on where you're now, like if you're in a different time zone, you
Yeah.
probably have to wait 72 hours for your body to catch up to that specific time zone. But everybody's on the same circadian rhythm based on how the sun is moving across and with the electromagnetic currents that are on the planet. So the interaction between yin and yang. Okay. So claviceps purpura. So now to the mushroom. So the mushrooms have, because again, there's always a give and a take, right? There's always a yin and a yang, right? So I know we're excited about it, and it's good because we can access things like legume and some of the other things that we use. But there's debris. There's always resistance that's building up. So we gotta be able to move that. So succinic acid, right? Okay, that's in the mushroom. Right. Okay, so we know what the mushroom can do, but anybody ever get nausea when they eat the mushroom? I heard people talk about yesterday, right? So how many enzymes did you have on board to deal with that? Okay, that you felt that uncomfortableness because it was affecting the person's metabolism. It's affecting that metabolism. Now you're gonna get the effect of it once it kicks in, but there's some things that happen. So it gives, so in the end it's gonna take something that belongs to us, okay? You might be on a trip like having a hard time going to the bathroom, okay? There may be some different things that you notice because the mushroom is going into the spleen, okay? And the stomach. And the spleen and stomach is associated with what? Digestion, right? Digestion. But, okay, but this is called what? The first brain. Western medicine is just starting to figure this out. They, you know, we have to talk about this brain. This is a processor, but this is it. That this is the conscious mind, and the spleen is the subconscious mind. And you go into your subconscious mind, right? When you're taking the journey with psilocybin, and now you're seeing the things in your subconscious, and then we come back and call it a bad trip or something like that. But can you process, can you go in and get there? So now, you're going in there, okay? We're in there, so it's in the digestive process. So you want to be in a enzyme surplus, okay? You want to be in the enzyme surplus, you want to make sure that your blood is moving efficiently so that you can take the trip a lot easier than, you know, getting tossed around, right? Question.
So what's the effect of having your spleen removed when it's related to your subconscious mind?
Well, then you have, okay, so again, it's yin and yang. You have a physical spleen and you have one that's not there.
Right.
So if the spleen is removed, that's what they call a ghost spleen.
Okay.
Like somebody
But the energetic spleen is still there.
energetically it's still there.
Oh, okay.
But they'll have some problems with the physical,
Right.
on the physical level. But it'll still process energetically.
But I meant like, how does that affect your subconscious mind?
Well, you have your spirituality still connected.
Right.
Okay. I mean, outside of it being physical, the body's gonna have to adjust. You know, you have to adjust because apparently that's something that karmically that the person has to deal with. You know, I mean, we don't just have to go with what's in front of us at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So is there any enzymes that you recommend to take before your trip?
Well, that's good. That's a good thing. Okay. Well, you know, pineapple juice. You know, is a good one. You know, that's good. You know, or papaya, something that's not gonna take so much energy to break down. That's why it's not recommended to eat a heavy meal or heavy proteins before you go do it, because it might end up on the floor. I know that person. Okay, because I had to go through that. To learn, the journey too, right? Okay, so this does.
How long before should you take it, like,
What the
juice?
Oh, you
Right
can do it-
before?
Yeah, you can do it right before.
or you,
You can do
or
it 10
chug
minutes
the
before.
mushroom down with the juice?
You can, it depends on how you wanna do it. You can make a smoothie with it or something like that. Or make sure, if you boil it, it depends on how you prepare it.
Man up and eat it.
But if you gonna eat them, you wanna do it. That's just.
Yeah, man.
I've never done it before, so I don't know.
We make no smoothies.
Yes,
Trying to figure out which
sir.
way I was going.
Oh, yeah, now ginger, that's because you got, obviously different type of ginger, but ginger definitely
I don't eat before.
helps you.
Everything I
digest
hear
the
to
process.
We just got a couple minutes left if we could.
So the ginger helps your digestive system, so it'll definitely help with that because it goes to the spleen and stomach, so it'll be able to boost that for you, okay? So, but, once you go through the process, there's different options, like, these teishings here, you can use these on yourself to help prepare yourself as well, okay? To stimulate specific points, to help move your blood, activate your digestive system and your digestive juices.
How do you spell that?
Teishing, well, here it is, right. I got a few in there, if anybody interested in getting one, we'll have those. Okay, but it's a activator.
Okay.
You wanna know what?
How it was spelled, so I can look it up to buy one.
Okay, well, we have one right here if you want one, but okay.
Alright.
For our
Take
video
shape.
viewers.
Okay. Station. Okay.
Are there meridians all over the body? So does, in other words, every point in the body is a meridian?
Yes, but some are more active than others. They're stronger. There's some that's like tapping into a well. Then another one runs like a stream. Okay? And another one runs like a river. And then the river runs into the sea. See? So they're stronger. See, the ones here at your elbows and at your knees and around your knees and around your elbows, those are the most powerful. Those are the most powerful points right here.
Why?
Yes, sir.
Because they're bends, why are they the most powerful?
This is they're called C points. These are the C points.
Because they folded, because they both
Yeah,
folded?
at the bend. Yeah, at the crook.
Now, what about the subatomic particles?
Yes, we're gonna get to that. Right? Thank
Yeah,
you.
okay, cool, let's, wrap up very soon, cause we got, take your time, 10, 15 more minutes if you need it, I'm gonna start sending down the line to other rooms that it's time to start wrapping up.
Okay.
Take your time though, get
no
questions
problem.
in, we don't have to shut it down.
Thank you, thank
All
you.
right, thank you. So he mentioned the subatomic particles, which is excellent. But the thing that, because of the succinic acid and other things that are associated with mushrooms that can create digestive problems, it goes in the kidneys. We hear the stories of the shaman. They eat the mushroom, then they go pee in the bottle, and the people drink the mushroom, drink the pee. You heard that story?
Yeah.
Okay, all those stories, right? Okay, but it's got to be filtered through the kidneys. It can jam up the nephrons within the kidneys. Okay, so now you got little particles in there that's blocking up the kidney. So over time, a person may be susceptible to blood pressure issues, stuff like that, back problems, joint problems, and stuff because the debris has accumulated. Because if the debris gets accumulated, there's a film over it along with all kinds of different things that we have as human beings that show up. And that accumulation happens, and now the organ starts to shut down. Okay, so we use the subatomic particles after the trip. Okay, and the whole process is that you take these go under your tongue, they go on and they ionize the blockage. So there's an element in there, okay, that is there that could be a blockage. Okay, it's a positive and negative attraction. Okay, it has intelligence. Okay, it attracts. There's a tug of war that goes on. This is called ionization. So the force in this has to be stronger than the force of that blockage in your body. And it starts to chip away, open. So now oxygen and blood and things like that can flow properly back in there, because the mushroom is a fungus. Okay? And fungus, last I know, can affect definitely your respiratory system.
Yes.
Okay? We can't just, we gotta be aware, we have to use modern technology. Thank you for chromatography, that we could be able to break down the elements in elements. We don't have to go back and go, oh, let me try that one. Oh, I just ate poison ivy, now everything's done. Now we just put it in the lab, you know? So we need our science.
I was wondering, you say with the ionizing, so can you ground yourself, or would that help as well?
Grounding is excellent. But this this thing right here, these little pellets here, each one of these have 10 million particles in it. Each one of those little balls. And so it's gone through this atomic energy, so it's been hit 1,000-pound weight, so it's succussion. So there's like a nuclear force in it, bam, so when it gets in your body, it sends out waves. So everything has frequency and waves. So this right here is something that I recommend to consume, take after, you do that.
What is that?
This is see, the thing about it is you can use a poison to treat a poison, but in small amounts. So when you go in there, so now this force now takes out the larger force because of the wave that's associated with it. So this is a form of the mushroom. Yes.
Where do you get that at?
I have it right here.
Well, I mean,
Where's the website?
yeah,
My
outside of
website.
outside of the just period. Or are you the plug?
Because this is a part of what I do. You can go and research this and do it yourself. I took a lot of years for me to get to this point.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
On your website, you could.
Yeah, or you can call me up. I'll give you, a card. We have them here, but it's.
Is it a
You hear people talk about mushrooms, but now we talk about moving debris out of the body.
Yeah.
Right. That the mushrooms created.
Yeah.
Okay. So we want to be able to say, okay, let's.
Not just the mushrooms, but other types of
Other things as well, but this is specifically for the journey.
Right.
Same thing for the toad.
Mm-hmm.
Ayahuasca. There's different things that you can do to remove it, because it's that's where the body is adjusted to.
I would just like to make a comment. When we were listening to Mama Yana yesterday, she talked about how we will call in our ancestors, but she also talked about how you have to also send them back. So very similar to, I no, for me, it sounds similar to what you're talking about. As you're taking things in, there's also things that you have to send back.
Send back, yeah. So you keep everything, because Lao Tzu says those who travel farthest travel lighter. If the load is too heavy,
Yeah, you wanna go for it.
it's gonna weigh you down over time. And we want to take as much time we can to learn what we can. Can't say karmically how it's gonna show up. So this was the pathway of the scholar shaman that's all put together.
What's inside the jar? Like, what do you call it?
These are subatomic particles. They've been broken down. They're just
isolated particles of the mushroom
Yeah.
that are succussed
yes.
and made just like a tincture.
But it's in a milkshake, lactose.
Can I see it?
How much are those? You don't know.
For you.
Can they pass through airport security?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
We would get real curious.
That is a good question. It doesn't have it's not like that at all. Yeah, you can
But you gotta know which one to get based on your
I know which
diagnosis
one
of
you want to get, and you have different strengths. And if you just go online looking for this, you don't know. And the other side is, if you're not vetted, they're not gonna let you in. Right? You might can go in the Whole Foods or somewhere and say, I saw that, and it'll say 6C or 12C. You might see 30C, you won't see 200C, 1 million C, 10 million C, 50 million C, or the mother load. You won't see that.
What C means, carbon? C-carbon? What is
That's the concentration.
Gotcha. That's just like a measure.
Okay, so, but yeah, so I think we've covered as much as we can right now.